everyone, welcome back to Callie and Beans Books. I'm Brittany and today it is time for my book corner. So I am finally getting back into reading. I was kind of in a slump, kind of too busy to read, and now I finally feel like I'm in a really nice rhythm with balancing wedding planning, cleaning the house, and reading and keeping everything in order. I stopped at Barnes & Noble this week and picked up a couple of books. First book I picked up is Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey, and this is the third in her Fixer Up universe. I'm really excited to follow this couple. We were introduced to them in the second one, Love Her or Lose Her, so I'm really excited to see how this couple interacts and how they go from enemies to lovers, and I'm really excited about it. The second book I picked up was First Comes Like by Alisha, and this one is the third in her The Right Swipe series, and I'm really excited about it. The second one was a little bit of a letdown. I didn't really enjoy it as much, but I'm really excited about this character, so I cannot wait to dive into this couple as well. The next two books are continuing a series that I have the first one for, and that is Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I, of course, already have Shadow and Bone. I didn't realize that the little Netflix sticker on the books was printed onto the cover until I got home. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but hey, that is actually the reason why I'm starting to reread Shadow and Bone and continuing the series is because of the new Netflix series that is out. I do want to finish and get the written version of the story before watching it on screen, so hopefully I can get to that in the next couple of weeks in between wedding planning and other books that I do want to read. So the first book I read in the month of April was The Shadows Between Us by Tricia Levenseller, and I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. I truly love this story. Everything from the beginning to the end, it was so well done, so well written. This is the first book by Tricia Levenseller that I've read, and I love her writing style. It was amazing. I loved the way the characters were introduced and the friendships that were developed, as well as the romantic relationship. I really enjoyed the relationship between Alessandra and her dad. It wasn't the typical father-daughter relationship. Sometimes you read the ones that they have a great relationship and they're together in the conniving plots, and it's complete opposite in this one, and I actually really enjoyed it. I also really liked the fact that she embraces the fact that she's nobility. There's been a lot of the theme of I'm noble, but I hate it because I want to, give back, and I wish I wasn't in this position, and she embraces it and is just like, no, I'm better than you. And I actually did really enjoy that because it was a different speed and a different pace, and I did really enjoy her friendships that were developed as well, where she was still able to make friends with people instead of just thinking she's better than everybody and on her own and everything as well. So I thought that was really interesting. The one thing I didn't like about the story dives into a spoilery part of the plot, so I can't really get into it in this video, mostly because I don't want to give anything away, but it has to do with the very first thing that we're introduced to in the story. So that's the only thing I didn't like, and I felt like the ending was a little bit rushed after we get the big reveal, which was shocking and perfectly done. But otherwise, those were the only things that I just didn't quite like, so I can't give it an exact 5 out of 5, but everything else was perfect, and I truly loved the story and hope that there's more in the future. So the second book that I finished in the month of April was actually an audiobook, and it was free and included in Audible this month, and that is called Sweet Talk by Cara, Bastone. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It is following two characters. Our female lead is JD and our male lead is Elliot. We start the story off with JD getting a late night text from Elliot, and it turns out that he texted the wrong person, and we find out that Elliot has dyslexia. He doesn't want to be embarrassed, so he doesn't type out their full name right away. He just does the jumble letters, and then when he gets home in his privacy, then he can spell it out. He admits that he forgot to redo JD's contact, so that is how we follow her throughout the entire story. So her identity is not only concealed to Elliot, but also us as the audience, which I felt was really cool. It was really interesting and different. I didn't realize until about 3 chapters in that that's what was going on too. I was like, oh, we actually don't know her name. And the conversations that they have are deep and fun and flirty, and we can definitely tell that JD is struggling on something in her life that is the connecting between how she knows Elliot and why she can't tell Elliot who she is. And then the reveal happens and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because there's little hints. You kind of figure it out throughout the story, but at the same time, you still want to hear the full story on who she is and why she can't tell Elliot who she is. And it was really interesting. I absolutely fell in love with it. There were a lot of moments where I was like, I don't want this story to end. But the wrap up was so well done, and I did really enjoy the story. It was a nice lighthearted contrast to reading The Shadows Between Us. So I actually had those going at the same time because I was kind of sick of listening to the same podcasts and not really in the mood for music driving to work. So I jumped on Audible and found Sweet Talk, and I thought it was so well done. So I was kind of listening to that while I was finishing The Shadows Between Us, and it was the perfect contrast. So I am currently listening to the Audible version of Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I read this for Serpent and Badger Book Club, and I truly loved it. I just don't remember much of anything. I know the biggest reveal, and that's about it. I don't remember a lot of the plot, I don't remember a lot of the characters, and I definitely don't remember the magic system at all. So I'm going to reread it in the form of listening to it on Audible and then go into the sequels and then, of course, the companion duology going through the next couple of weeks. It'll probably go into the summer more. So besides listening to Shadow and Bone, I'm also currently reading From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout, and I am borrowing this copy from Callison. I went over to her apartment a couple weeks ago and we were looking at our bookshelf, and I was like, I don't know what I want to read. So she gave me a couple of options. Currently starting this one. It's a little slow on the pickup, so I'm hoping I can dive into it a little bit more when I can just sit and read. Bellona's been driving me nuts the last couple of days, so when I go to sit down and read, she gets all hyper and very hard to just sit and read when the dog wants to run around and play. So hopefully I can just kind of relax and read in the next couple of days and really get into the story. But right now there's not much, which I've heard there's not a lot of plot. There's a lot of other things that people will enjoy. So hopefully I can jump into this story a little bit more in the next couple of days and finish this out. But it is quite a long story that I'm finding, so I'm not sure how long this is going to take me. So in the meanwhile, I'll probably stick to listening to books while reading other ones. Gonna try my hand at that and see how it goes. Don't really have a set TBR right now. I guess the 2 romance books that I picked up from Barnes, and then finishing the Grishaverse, as well as revisiting All the Stars and Teeth and All the Tides of Fate by Adalyn Grace. I kind of put those on the back burner, but I do have the audiobook of All the Stars and Teeth, so that might be the next one that I dive into after I get caught up on the Grishaverse. We'll see. Again, floating TBR, I really don't have anything set in stone because I'm such a mood reader right now, and my reading habits are on a roller coaster. So we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks. Hopefully I can get back into reading the way I want to. So that's everything for my book corner this month. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. If you like our videos, hi sweetheart. And if you like our videos, be sure to share with your family and friends, and head over to Instagram and Goodreads. All of our links will be in the description below, as well as the link to our book club, the Serpent and Badger Book Club that we host on Goodreads. Until next time, bye.